all of you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people, wherever you are in the world. I hope you are doing wonderfully, wonderfully well. Now, today, a big thank you to everybody who has bought tea in the last couple days. It's been a little overwhelming. I've worked for about 12 hours straight. But today, everybody, even if somebody orders right now, anybody, everything is going to be fine. Everything is going to be sent out. Everybody's stuff has been sent out, as far as I know, unless somebody orders something really weird, or there's a lot of orders during this live stream. Every single order, except for one, will be sent out. Today. One thing I learned, a really interesting thing I learned, really fascinating thing I learned. Did you know that there is a massive demand for respectably priced Taiwanese vanilla? Like, so much so that I put up vanilla and it sold out in like 6 hours. And people bought a lot of vanilla. And so a couple of things I learned. One, I'm going to buy more vanilla. And number two, I don't know what's going on in the world, but I think there are some very, very price gougey vanilla type people. I did some research, and vanilla gets sold in little tiny vials. You know, it's like little tiny vial, like one in it for like $10. Like, what? You know, like, what? So I bought a bunch more vanilla, and it'll be, hey, how's it going? And so I bought a bunch more vanilla, and so it will come in, and it will be there very, very soon. Now, first, I just want to show you what this beautiful, amazing tea looks like. Now, I'm going to drink this tea. Now, this tea is not for sale. This tea will be included in this month's subscription box, but it is not for sale. Let's see if you can sort of see what it looks like. Yeah, that's pretty good. You can see what it looks like. So you can see just by looking at this tea, it's got a couple different colors and flavors in there. You can sort of see what it looks like that. So you can sort of see what's going on with that tea. And what this tea is called, and what this tea I'm going to call this tea, is the Bird Planted Black. And we'll get into what this tea is. And it's an amazing tea. And as you can imagine, it is also wildly expensive. So it's only going to be like, I'm only going to put 5 grams in this month's subscription box. And then I'm going to debate how much more I'm going to buy of it in the future. But maybe we'll talk about that. I started talking about it at the last live stream I did. But this tea is, I'll talk about the story behind this tea, what this tea is, and all of that. But I'm going to call it Bird Planted Black. And it's a tea that's, you don't get tea, you get tea like this in China, right? Like in China, you can find teas like this. They exist, and there's actually sometimes there's quite a lot of them. But in Taiwan, these teas are extraordinarily rare. And anyways, we'll talk about it in a second. Just again, thank you everybody who bought tea the last couple of days. Like I said, I've been working 12 hours, packing tea, checking tea, packing tea, checking tea, sent it out. And there will be more vanilla. There will be, the vanilla sold out in 6 hours, and then the Alpine White sold out in about 10 hours. There's no more Alpine White. That's gone, except in next month's subscription box. So Alpine White will be in next month's subscription box. I've kept some back. So the Alpine White will be in next month's subscription box, and then I'm getting in a bunch more vanilla because, like I said, I don't know what I know about vanilla is basically nothing, and it tends to be sort of, I think in the West, it's sort of the same thing as tea in general, in the sense that there's a lot of BS about vanilla to jack up the price of vanilla. Right, I remember reading these things where, like in Madagascar, there would be roving gangs of vanilla stealers, and you know, they would have to mark each vanilla with their right thing and all this sort of weird stuff. And then it turns out, you know, that's not really the case. You know, like it turns out that's not really the case. And vanilla's not that hard to grow, and it grows in lots of the world. And so, you know, the vanilla in Taiwan is not that expensive. With the one caveat before we get into the tea. The vanillas that I'm buying that are sort of affordable are about this long. If you want to get some that are about this long, it's double the price. Literally double, more than double the price to get some that are this long. So this long is $1. This long is like $2.50. And I don't really know why. And I'm going to look into it. I'm going to figure out why. I don't really know why, because the stuff that's like this, pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. Like it's really, really, really quite amazing stuff. Anyways, it's sold out. I just ordered some more. By the weekend, I'll have more in stock. What is this tea? Now, what I'm going to call this tea is Bird Planted Black. And the story behind this tea, there's a way of speaking in Mandarin. There's a way of talking where if in English you might say the squirrels planted it, or you might say it was just forest grown, or there's all these weird words. In Mandarin, they use the birds, right? So these are all these cultural things, right? There's not a lot of squirrels in Taiwan. Now that they're here, they're around here, but there's not a lot of squirrels. Apparently, they're tasty, but anyways, that's a different story. It's very strange. My children were very excited to see squirrels in Canada. But when a tea plant, nobody knows who planted it. The birds took it and planted it because you guys know that the tea plants, you got the seed pod thing that comes out. There's usually 3 seeds, and then it sort of comes like this, and they're sort of like walnuts. They make tea seed oil out of the tea seeds. But those tea seeds, there's a lot of animals that like them, and so they take them somewhere. They might drop them, bury them, things like that. And tea plants grow up in the forests surrounding the tea gardens, and that's what this is. So there is the Shanlinshi family. So there's a couple different places I get Shanlinshi tea, but this is, hey man, how's it going? There's a couple different places where I get Shanlinshi tea. This is one of them, and they have forests all around their garden. And these are tea plants that have been planted basically by animals in the forests. And there's enough of them that they can actually go in and pick them and make tea. Now, this tea obviously is organic. It's kind of rich and thick. It's hard to make, right? Because you got a wild tea plant that's as big as a person, but you might, in the springtime, you might only be able to pick like 5 or 6 things off of each tea plant, right? So this is the same stuff, the same idea as the sort of the wild grown Camellia formosensis and things like that. But you go and you pick it like that, you pick it, and what happens is this family, about 5 years ago, they started picking this stuff because there was enough that they could actually make a product out of it. So they started picking it, and this is a family that's been making tea for generations, and they made it. And unfortunately, it was too expensive for people to buy because they have a normal sort of quasi-conventional Shanlinshi area. So they got this place, the Shanlinshi area, that's like clean conventional, is the way I call sort of places like that. Now, it's just started to rain. I don't know. I'm sure everybody knows because you keep track of what's going on here in the place where you get your tea, in your favorite tea places. Of course, you keep track, but there's another damn typhoon coming to Taiwan. And I don't know if you noticed or you can hear it, but it started to rain and all the bees came home. So right now, right beside me, all the bees, they all just went, and now all the bees are actually, you can see them here in the YouTube. But it started to pour rain and all the bees just came home really fast. Jayo girls. Anyways, there's a typhoon coming, like a big typhoon. And it's going to be a super. And so behind me, this is what it looks like when a typhoon comes. So you can see sort of you can sort of see it here, the blue sky. And then over here, you've got the rain coming in. And so it's going to come through, and it just does this. The typhoon spins and sends out waves of these things. You You can go to the Taiwan Weather Bureau and look at the radar. It's absolutely fascinating. But it's going to come through, pour rain, and then be sunny, and then pour rain, and then be sunny, and then tomorrow we're going to get smacked. Anyways, this is planted by birds. And that's the saying in Chinese. They say wild planted or naturally planted or whatever. But in Mandarin, they say planted by the birds. And so this is planted by seed. So this is not a cultivar, right? This is, it's like apples, same as apples, right? You plant an apple seed, you don't know what's coming up because you don't know what pollinated it. And these are camellia trees. So there's also camellia flowers. There's all sorts of different things that could cross-pollinate into these plants. And so what you're looking at when you're looking at these teas, and I'm just amazed at how dark it gets. It just gets so dark so fast. And I've had this tea a couple times. And it's got the little things going on. Anyways, what happens is you get these teas that are planted in the forest that are thick and strong and unique. They don't have the flavor of the Qingxin oolong. They just have something else. And then they pick this tea, and then they make a black tea out of it. And this family is also relatively religious. So they actually use this tea in making this tea. I'm not using that as a selling point. I'm just trying to put context into how important it is for this family. But they'll actually, make this tea in the context of sort of an offering or in the context of religion, sort of the Buddhist Taoist version of the Taiwanese sort of style of things. That they sun dry it and they do things with it. And they take it very, very, very seriously when they're making it. Again, I hate talking about that type of stuff in the context of there's so many bad actors that will use that as sort of this masturbatory idiocy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to put it into the context of what this tea means to these people who make the tea. And so they put a huge amount of care into the making of this tea with amazing material, like just amazing material. And so they create this tea that is, 4 to 5 times as expensive as the normal tea that they make. But I would argue it's 4 to 5 times more impactful than the normal tea that they would make. And they only make a little bit of it every year. Now, I love this type of tea. And this is the type of tea that what I was talking about before, this is the type of tea that is the stuff that's hard to sell because the cost of it, the price of it is just so much higher than the other teas. And what is the flavor of this? If you've had sort of the beautiful teas from China made with the old growth tea plants, the black teas that they can make from some of that stuff, they've got that really beautiful cherry red fruit note. So it's got that type of stuff going on. But it's also got the Qingxin cultivar, so there's got a touch of floral in there. But then it also has like a sugarcane sweetness to it, right? So there's a sugarcane sweetness to it. And there is just a depth that you do not get with the vast majority of Taiwanese oolongs or black teas or Taiwanese teas, right? I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. China makes the best tea in the world, bar none. Pound for pound, Taiwan makes the best tea in the world, right? So if you want to get the best of the best that's ever been made, it's China. No one denies that. Nobody's going to argue that. But if you're going to take a random tea from anywhere in China compared to a random tea from anywhere in Taiwan, Taiwan wins every time. Well, like 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of Taiwanese tea would be better than, there'd only be 20% of Chinese tea that would be better than the 80% of Taiwanese tea. Anyways, whatever. You guys get what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into the math. And so this has a lot of these aspects of the really, really, really good sort of old growth high mountain tea. But here's the tragic story about it. I'm at the tea show. I go And I know these people. They're the people who do, for example, the magnolia orchid, the rose, the rose, red oolong, and their. I don't buy their Shanlinchi, sort of their usual Shanlinchi sort of teas, because, well, anyways, we won't get into that. I buy that from somewhere else. And I was talking to my friend, and she was telling me how, they make this tea every year. Now you can see the steeps. I'm doing like flash steeps with these teas, right? I'm doing fast 15 seconds, 10-second steeps, because this is like a Chinese tea, right? I can do like 15 steeps on this beautiful tea, 15 steeps. And I'm like, what's going on? What do you got this year? She's like, she's like really like, she's like, here, let's drink some of this, because she takes out the good stuff. She knows me. And so we started talking about it, and this was from 5 years ago. So this is a 5-year-old tea. And she talked about how this year they weren't even making it anymore. And they weren't even making it because they couldn't sell it, because it was too expensive. Nobody wanted to buy it. The second reason was, and I said to her right away, I said, just make it and age it. It'll be so amazing. You age it up there. It'll be like somebody will buy it someday. It'll just be, you can give it to your kids. It'll be just she's like, we ran out of space. We did that for 3 years. We didn't sell any of it, and we ran out of space. And it was brutal, right? I was like, oh no, because I could totally understand what was going on. They made this tea, and this type of tea, like 100 grams of it is going to be like this, right? Whereas 100 grams of the oolong is like this. And so they make, if they make like a couple kilograms, it's this huge bag of tea, and they have to store it like a huge bag of tea. And so they made it for 3 or 4 years, and then they basically stopped making it because they didn't have space. And so now it's up there, just sitting there waiting for somebody to come up and get this beautiful, amazing tea. But, it costs like $1 a gram, and it's worth $1 a gram, right? This is worth $1 a gram. But the people who are willing to spend $1 a gram are few and far between. And what I was saying was like, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do. Let's make a plan. Let's figure out a way we can sell all this tea. And then with the money, you cut off a piece of your garden next to the forest. And then you let that go wild. And then every year we make a little bit more tea, and then we make it, in 10 years, 15 years, the whole garden will be wild. Let's do that. Come on, let's do it. And, she laughed about it, and, whatever. And I bought some because I wanted to have people to try it. But it's really tough. It's like this beautiful tea that they take huge care in making costs, 4 or 5 times as much as sort of the regular tea that people drink. Now, just right now, I mean, that story is amazing. I just told that story, right? Everybody's like, "Well, I want to buy it. Like, I'm in. Yes, well, there's already people who are like, "Yeah, let's buy it." And fair enough. It's terrifying for me. It is absolutely terrifying for me, right? It's somebody just bought some tea. Thank you very much. When I go back, I'll send it out today. And yeah, the code is TShow24, and it's still going on for the next day or two. And so if you go in there, actually, if you just search for Tea Show and more of that collection, you can actually see the thing, and that's all the teas. There's like 7 teas in there. $1 per gram club, please. That's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. $1 a gram teas are terrifying to me, because I know the people that sell $1 a gram teas, and they sell crap. Like I talked about this before, right? It's distasteful. It's terrifying, right? I don't want to sell $1 a gram teas. I mean, I do, but I know a lot of people that sell $1 a gram teas for teas that are not worth $1 a gram, right? They're doing like they're buying the teas for 10 cents a gram, and they're saying, "Oh, this is special. Look at me. I'm wearing a super suit," and blah 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 blah. Hate that stuff. I hate it. But this tea is worth $1 a gram. It's worth $1 a gram. The care that's put into it, the way of drinking it, the chi when you drink this tea it's amazing. It's so grounding, smooth, clear, calm, just like it's a very focusing chi, and it's like a meditation tea, right? And that means most of the people I say, oh, it's a meditation tea. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, go join the cult. But there's truth to it, right? There's truth to it, and it's repeatable. And I don't want to get all into that. But the point is that this tea is like a meditation aid. And what's fascinating is when they make this tea, they literally design this tea. The family makes this tea basically as a meditation aid. When did the coach start? Tea Show 2024. It started on Sunday. So I think I made it go all the way until like Saturday Taiwan time. So Saturday Taiwan time. It's still going to Saturday Taiwan time. And just if you search Tea Show 24, I don't think it's 2024. I think it's just 24. But look for the collection that says Tea Show and more, and then you can see all the teas. I think there's 8 teas in there. Although the Alpine White is sold out, and again, like I was saying, the vanilla. Apparently, there's a dearth of affordable vanilla all over the world, and there's a big dearth of it because that's sold out so fast. It's like I was selling the like 25 sticks of vanilla. It's like, who's going to buy 25 sticks of vanilla? That sold out in like 5 minutes. So anyways, who knows? Maybe I'm going to be a Taiwanese vanilla salesman and I'll put the tea on a shelf and just start selling vanilla. But funny story about the vanilla before I keep talking about this. Again, I'm talking about this tea and I feel so bad because it's like, not sure if I ordered any of those teas. I don't know. I don't think you did. I think I put in some for you, but I don't think, not the vanilla and not the Alpine White. Anyways, what's the point? This subscription service month will have vanilla. It will have this tea. It will have the Alpine White. It will have the 2 tea cakes, 10 grams of each of the tea cake. And then there was another teas that I was going to put in there, but I've stepped off because it just got too expensive. Like, this is an expensive tea. So anyways, this month's subscription box is a banger. But anyways, I don't remember exactly what I threw in there for you. But anyways, next month's subscription box has got all of those if you missed them. Anyways, the story about the vanilla. So I packed up the vanilla, right? Got the gloves on, putting the vanilla, packaging it all up. But the vanilla, the Taiwanese vanilla, is so potent. It's just insanely potent that, I'm packing it up. I go downstairs, give my wife a hug, and she's like, and she's very nervous. and she's like, why do you smell like that? I'm like, well, I'm packing up the vanilla. And it was funny because both of us, we grew up other side of the world, right? But the connotation of the smell of vanilla, I don't know if you have this as well, but the connotation for me and the connotation for her is sort of like teenage girl. So the smell of vanilla is teenage girl. And she was very nervous. She's like, oh, why do you smell like that? And it was quite funny. Because for some reason, teenage girls like the smell of vanilla. And so when I was growing up, definitely that was sort of the high school girl scent. And I guess in Taiwan, it was the same. And she was pissed and trying to figure out why. Yeah, pretty funny. Anyways, the point is, I did not put the vanilla anywhere. I didn't even touch my skin, really. But my whole body was just covered in this potent Taiwanese vanilla. Just amazing. It's just amazing stuff. Can't wait to try the cakes. The cakes are interesting, right? The cakes are interesting and relatively affordable for how unique they are. to jump back into the tea and the story about the tea. I want to. Do I want to be able to sell this teas like this? I guess I do. I kind of want to be able to sell teas like this, but I also want to be able to. Teas like this deserve to be drunk, but they also don't deserve to be sort of attacked and treated with uncomfortable risk, I guess you could say. All right, so I told the story about this tea. And then I say, okay, buy this tea, buy this tea, buy this tea. If it becomes fashionable, then sort of the, what's the best way of describing it? As a tea seller, the more dangerous people will buy it. And they won't buy it because they appreciate the tea or realize what it is or have, want that. They just buy it because somebody told them to buy it and it's cool now. And that's really dangerous, right? It's dangerous for a tea seller. It's dangerous for anything. It's dangerous for human beings, right? So just be careful of people who live that way. They're not real people. And so for me to sell this tea, it's almost like I should carve out a space where, if you walk into this space, it's accessible, but you have to realize that you're walking into a space where if you're just getting into tea, you probably shouldn't be here, right? If this is your first time buying these things, if this is your first time anything about these teas, like this is probably not the first black tea you should have. You're not going to really appreciate it. Start with the honey fragrance black tea. Start with the, the Sancha black. Get some Ruby 18. Try the number 8 tea. Get into those, and then try some Chinese black teas. Right? Go in and see if you can find something that they've labeled as an old growth, monkey picked black tea from some showman out there. Try that tea. Try it out. And then when you're ready, sort of come back and be like, okay, you ready? Let's go. Let's go sample the equivalent of 1,000-year-old tree, really, really good Chinese black tea. Just picked up some more of the Chilai. That stuff is like candy. Yes, it is. And I've only got maybe 50 grams of it left from last year. And I've already got in where is the 2024 stuff? I want to buy it. Can you send me a sample? I did that this morning. Actually, I did that yesterday. And I haven't heard back from them. And I'm starting to get nervous. But anyways, I'll find it. Not every single place creates a tea as good as the Chilai Black every year. But every year there's at least one place that has it. And so I'll go find it. Even if I can't get it from the same place, I hope I can. I really like the guy. I really like that family. I want to support them and help them out. But if I can't, I'll find it somewhere else. But it's just like candy. It's, that's another one of those teas where it's expensive, right? But can you imagine if one of the showmen were selling something like that? It would just be $5 a gram. Anyways. Now, if you want to try this tea again, it's just, there's something about, and you get this from the Chinese teas as well, but there's just something about the teas that are made with care, that are wild grown. There's like a shininess to the leaves and like a shininess and a fur to the leaves that just denote amazing high quality stuff. And this has it. Now, one of the reasons that I'm talking about this tea and saying so much about it is because I'm not selling it. And so, like I said, I'm very, very, very scared about sort of the people that live in that world, that tell you that their teas are the best of the best, and then they sell it. This tea is not for sale. Like I said, there's going to be 5 grams that will go into this month's subscription box. And then I'll probably buy some more in the next little while. but it's a tea that deserves respect, and I think that's what I'll do. I'll probably open up like a Discord, and I had a Discord before during the bull run, last bull run, and I'll open up another Discord now that we're getting back into another bull run. But I think I will do stuff like this and have more teas of this caliber that will be, for sale for people who think they might be able to appreciate them and things like that. Top secret tea club. Well, I don't want it to be. That's another part, right? I don't want to be a gatekeeper, right? Another bull run. We're not talking about that. I do not need to get demonetized or canceled or whatever on this. But another thing that's so annoying. I hate the gatekeepers. I despise the gatekeepers. Right. The fact that somebody would say, if you only know what you're talking about, then you can come join this, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to make it secret, but I wanted to make it as a very, as a respectful place, like you can absolutely not like a tea, but if it's a high quality tea, you can't say the tea is crap. You can say, I don't like the tea. It's not my personal preference. I don't like this note or this note or this note, but it's undeniably a high quality tea. And oftentimes the people who first get into tea, they will be, if they feel like they've been ripped off, and more cases than not, they have been, they will take it very personally, very, very angry about it, justifiably so. But when you're spending a lot of money on buying teas, right? When you're spending a lot of money buying teas, if you don't get a tea that's high quality, you should be justifiably quite angry. But you shouldn't be attacking the person who's selling the tea if you know it's high quality. And that's where I have fear. I don't know whether fear is the right word, because to this point in the tea game, I've been so upfront, so honest about how I do things and what I do, that I don't think somebody attacks me, and they've done it in the past many times. It sort of goes away really fast because people sort of, what? But I don't want the stress. I hate being attacked, right? I hate it. And I don't want to be a gatekeeper and say, only if you spent this much money can you join the club, or only if you know this, or you have to pass that's all BS, right? But to be able to create a space where people sort of expect that high quality and are wanting to pay for it, I think it would be a good thing to do, but then again, as soon as you do that, then you get like, I can just getting nervous about it, thinking about it, because people will attack you because they've been abused, for lack of a better way of describing it, by many, many tea sellers, right? There is, maybe abuse is too strong a word, but overcharged, taken advantage of, had money. The money for value has been so skewed that, anyways, you guys know. If you're here, listen, you probably lost some money on value for your tea. If you're here listening to some random guy who probably should have a shave, sitting on his back porch. I mean, it's a beautiful back porch, but sitting on his back porch, you know what I'm talking about. Tea friends only. Are they ready to learn about the actual high quality tea, the respectful tea club, something like that? Yes, but tea friends only. No. You don't have to be my friend. You just have to be like. You have to be like, you have to, okay, there it is. Perfect. The respectful tea club, the respectful discourse club, tea club, respectful discourse tea club, where it would be like, to get in, you have to describe a tea that you dislike, but that you appreciate the quality of. There we go. The respectful disc club. The respectful discourse Discord. Can that exist? Well, I can't do it on Facebook, right? So that's impossible on Facebook. Maybe on Discord. Maybe, right? Maybe. But, like to get in, you have to describe a tea that you did not like, that you do not like, but you can respect that it's high quality. I think that's the litmus test, right? There's the thing, right? Like I could do that for a lot of different teas, but I think that would be a good way to prove that you could, you can have some discourse where it's not going to be like flame wars and all sorts of like poor, anybody who's still left on Facebook, you poor people. I mean, it's like the only people left on Facebook are the ones who either enjoy or have a high tolerance for disgusting, censored interaction. Or maybe you just have like family members and you just put pictures of children or whatever. Anyways, don't do that. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just get in trouble. You seem like such a nice guy. It's a shame to hear you've got flamed for having a crap tea. I have never been flamed for having a crap tea. Not in the sense of like you would get in sort of the Facebook type of stuff. I've had people say, I don't like this tea, and then I just send them back the money. I've been attacked for various things. Like I remember when the classic example is when I first started doing the Camellia Formosensis tea cakes. I was flamed many, many times by saying it was a lie until they tried the tea and then they shut up. Then they're like, oh, it's real. Okay. So that's happened many, many, many times, many times. In the past. But I don't think I've ever had anybody say that this tea is not what you claimed and said it was. That's never happened. The Respectful Tea Club is hilarious. Yes. I think the Respectful Discourse Tea Club, right? We'll have to get out. I don't know. Are monocles too politically charged now? Cigars probably would be. But leather couches? No, we can't do that either. I mean, anyways, the Respectful Discourse Tea Club, right? Which, like, it's like the equivalent of someone saying, the fishy note is really good on this one. There you go. If you can pull that off, then we're good. Good discourse is the best way to learn. Yes, right? And I love disagreements, right? This is one of the things that I thrive on. I really, really enjoy disagreements. Respectful disagreements. I think that's the only real way you can survive in this world. It's with respectful disagreements, obviously. But we've had that sort of bred out of us. And I've always talked about it, right? I've always talked about the fact that tea is, tea is such a wonderful practice. It's such a wonderful microcosm where you can look at the tea objectively. And you can say, that tea tastes like a red fruit. And somebody says cherry. And somebody says overripe apricot. And then you go, yeah, I can see both of those, right? I can see both of those. And they go, overripe apricot, I don't like it. And the other person says, it's a red cherry, I love it. And both of those are extraordinarily valid. But nobody says that the other person is forced to drink the tea or forced to say it's good. Or if they don't say it's good, then they're looking at it and they're saying the same thing, right? Different sides of it. There's the objective sort of flavor profile. And they can disagree, but they don't have to get out the guns. And tea is an amazing practice for that, right? It's an amazing practice for that. So maybe that's something that we could that's something that we can do. The respectful discourse, the RDT club, RDT, respectful discourse. Maybe I'll start that up on November the 6th. November the 6th, we can, I'll launch that. Oh, anyways. Yeah, I think that's about it. So, before we keep going, any questions about what I've talked about so far? So, just to recap, thank you everybody who has bought some tea over the last couple of days. Like I said, put in 12-hour days. Everything's out there. Somebody bought some tea. That'll be out there soon, right? So that'll be out there soon. And yes, if you bought tea, sorry, this tea is it's I'm getting a little tea drunk with this tea. So if you have bought tea up till this moment right now, it'll be sent out today. Next, if you want vanilla, it's sold out in about 6 hours of me putting it out. My oldest son is a little bit of a hustler, I guess would be the right word. And so I said, "Oh, it's sold out in 6 hours." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to go sell it." I'm like, anyways, it's sold out in 6 hours. So there is, for some reason, I don't know why, it's out there. There is a massive demand for Taiwanese vanilla, or affordably priced good vanilla, I guess would probably be the best way of describing it. And so there will be that vanilla on the site back again by that weekend. The wintertime teas are coming in soon, and this tea, which is, I'm going to call it bird planted black from Shanlin Shi, is an amazingly potent, wonderful, complex tea with a relatively strong qi. There is another typhoon coming to Taiwan, so the subscription box will probably be delayed, probably until next Monday, unfortunately, because the typhoon's supposed to hit tomorrow. Things will be closed for a couple days, so it'll be packed up, ready to go, but it'll be shipped up next Monday. And yeah, if there's anything else that you have questions about, anything else you want covered, get in touch. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you have an amazing, wonderful morning, evening, weekend, all that stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream. This is a strong tea.